Hey everybody, what's going on? Today I'm in my garage on my treadmill because I'm going to be doing an experiment to test my full kit setup in a long distance travel scenario. I don't live in a place where I can just go out into the woods and travel for miles and miles and miles. And it seems to me that if I was going to do that, I'd want to know how I'm going to do before I try that, and I live in a state where I'm not allowed to have fun, so I'd probably have to leave my sword at home. I have done this experiment a number of times. I'm actually filming this intro in November, but I did this whole experiment in mid-August. I've got my backpack filled with a number of items that I would want to bring with me on a trek, numbering a couple of days. I can go over what I keep in my pack in another video, and I also have a 4-pound ankle weight to simulate a couple days worth of food rations. Now, all valid scientific studies have parameters, and because I am definitely a scientist, the parameters for this experiment are that I will be jogging and running at 4 miles per hour, which is forced march, and then 6 miles per hour. And I will be doing that with 3 different sword carry styles, and I will be doing each style, each speed, 10 minutes each. Because I'm not going to be doing it. I've already done it. You're gonna see me do it in just a couple seconds though. For my first sword carry method, I will simply be carrying the sword on my shoulder. This makes more sense carry-wise than just holding it in my hand at my side because weight is distributed more comfortably. Either way, I lose the use of one hand. This is the most relaxed setup and would be very comfortable over long distances of uninterrupted, peaceful travel. The sword doesn't bounce or jostle around or off my person, and my shoulders easily bear the weight of the light blade. Even at a faster pace, I have no issue keeping control of the weapon. I tried holding the sword by the hilt instead, which may seem like the smarter option given the two. It's a handle, hold it by the handle, you bloody fool. It would at least be easier to draw this way. Yes, true. Except, it's so much easier to draw in this position that at higher speeds with more turbulence, the sword actually begins to unsheath itself. A huge issue for safe travel. My second carry method is to wear the sword belt the way it is intended. This is done by threading the split strap through the thong and then threading it under and then through itself. With this method, the sword hangs very low on my hip and has a lot of slack to swing around. This can be both a blessing and a curse because it is easier to maneuver around obstacles if I am holding it, but if I'm not holding it, it bangs into stuff way easier. Because of how loose it sits on my hip, it also hangs almost completely horizontally. This makes me want to hold it tight to me instinctively, which means with this method, I still lose the use of my left hand, essentially. And at high speeds, due to the jostling and the cant of my body when I run, the handle dips really low, and at one point, the sword even begins to fall out. I didn't get a lower angle of that, so it's hard to see, sorry. It can be hard to recreate happenstances like that. My third and final method is to tie the sword so that it is very tight upon my hip. I wrap the thong once around the scabbard itself instead of just letting it hang, and this draws the sword very close to me. You can see how much higher it sits on my hip. And as I will discuss in just a second, it cuts across my body slightly as well. At forced march, the sword feels much more secure, and I don't feel the need to constantly fiddle with it. While it does still hang very close to horizontal, there is less vertical tilt, so I am much less afraid of it coming loose this way. At higher speeds, I don't feel the need to hold it all the time. I might even look more physically relaxed with this method. I'll let you guys judge. The only downside I had was that the sword sitting high and pulling across my body, the quillins dig into my ribs quite a bit, and the stiffer cant of this scabbard at a horizontal lever meant I hit a lot of stuff in the confined space of my garage, and because it's less maneuverable, I couldn't pull it out of the way as easily. There are a few more methods I want to try, but as for these three, I believe carrying the sword in my hand over my shoulder is what is most practical for me. There was one important factor that we haven't discussed yet that led me to think holding the scabbard makes the most sense. How easy is the sword to deploy or discard quickly? Looking at iconography to copy and learning from it is fun and fantastic, and I love it, but some things I feel I must learn by doing. My philosophy is, given a medieval or fantasy scenario, why would I choose to do something impractical if a better option exists? Drawing the sword from the loose scabbard setup isn't an issue, but traveling with it and God forbid fighting with it attached to my body is a struggle. Tying the scabbard closer solves the previous problems slightly, but creates a new one in that it's significantly harder to resheath and draw simply because of my blade to arm length ratio, which is something that can't be helped. I'll let you be the judge if you think either of those are significantly faster than drawing from hand carry, but this method allows me to get rid of the scabbard. Fighting with it attached is annoying and potentially dangerous, and I believe there is also a longsword technique where you draw and strike with the point of the scabbard at the same time. I don't know where I heard that, I don't remember, but if it rings a bell for any of my Hemo folks, please let us know in the comments below what that's called. The draw times seem comparable to me, but that just makes the carry techniques even in terms of speed. For me, the bonus is the versatility. I am much more dexterous and have more mobility while carrying the sword than I do while wearing it. If I want to sit, I can quickly do so. If I need to bail because I'm falling, I can. If I need to fit through a small space, I can. And when orders to march again come, I waste no time getting ready for the trek ahead. Alright guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope everyone learned something, had a little bit of fun maybe. I certainly did making the video. If you're a more experienced reenactor, I hope you were still able to glean something, or maybe you can share your own tips with the rest of us. This is certainly more geared towards people like me, just starting out, seen a lot of videos on stuff, but don't really know how it works in real life until we do it. So if you have suggestions, questions, suggestions for tests I can do in the future, please comment down below and consider liking, subscribing, and most importantly, sharing with other members of the community of the sword. Coming up, I do have some weather-related videos I'm going to be doing as we near the midpoint of November. And then after all of that, I'm going to be doing a little switch away from Lord of the Rings reenactment, which is what I'm currently dressed up as, and I will be transitioning into some Witcher-related content. So if you're interested in that, do stay tuned. Now, most YouTubers have some sort of stylistic sign-off, something that they brand themselves with. I don't have that yet because my cleverness disappeared after 3 p.m. today. So, if you have a suggestion for that, love to hear it down below as well. But for now, I'll say, take care guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.